lay there recovering all day without anyone bothering my ass, Instead, I woke an hour later to the sound of Louie's door opening. I figured he was just going to the bathroom or something, but instead he walks up beside me. Jesus, Pock, he said. What happened? You look like you've been hit by a truck. I raised up on my elbows and I said, Louie, why are you out here? Why are you speaking? What's going on? I don't have much patience today. So he pulled up a chair and he said, Pock, I've felt good the last 24 hours, even interested. And then, most amazingly of all, he smiled. It was like ice cracking. It may have been the first time in his life, and it was creepy. I was even sorry you didn't come home last night, he said. I wanted us to go out drinking. It was too much to take, I dragged myself to the feet, limped to the bathroom, took a leak, splashed water in my face, convinced myself this was all some bad dream, and I go back there, and Louie's still there, much less chatty Louie. He said, when I sat down, and he said, I thought when I woke this morning that the feeling would be gone, but it isn't, Pock. I feel buoyant, like we should go to San Francisco and do the town. It was like it was like I'd stepped into another dimension. When we're on this, of all days, Lonesome Louie was deciding to be my buddy. I started thinking, I must have had a concussion. And, did O'Donoghue knock my brains out? I'm sure this is all a shock, said Louie. But if you felt good once every 5 years, what would you do? Jesus, Lonesome, I moaned. I said, I'm happy for you, but look at me. And I ripped up what was left of that shirt. I had bruises on my chest and my ribs and my stomach and all that dried blood. And I said, cops pummeled me after work yesterday. I probably deserved it. And then I spent the night in the drunk tank. So I'm sure I have at least 2 cracked ribs. I'm dying here, man. And I could barely make it to the bathroom. I couldn't go out partying, even if I wanted to. So the fact you picked today to go manic is disturbing. And he looked at me for a minute, and then he got up, went outside. I heard him open the door of the Buick.